Folks, I'm Ron7 and I am on a journey to read every DC comic ever released. Today is day... I don't know what day it is, actually. September... Wait. Today is day 16. And today, just like every day, I've read 10 comics and now I'm here to talk about them. Beginning with More Fun Comics number 44. To be honest, I don't care about this one, man. There's nothing interesting going on. It's a slog. It's a slog. It's almost as bad as Feature Funnies. It's not. No, that's a lie. Feature Funnies is terrible. I'm gonna talk about Feature Funnies in a second. More Fun Comics is like, okay, it's the one we started with. Magic Crystal of History is still going on, which is crazy. Wing Brady too. I would have assumed Magic Crystal of History wouldn't have this much legs, but I guess there's a lot of historical events you can go through. But it just I don't know. It's fine. Wing Brady is alright. That's all I can remember, to be honest. It feels like a slog. Movie comics, also about More Fun Comics, it's always the one that's blurry. If there is ever one that's really blurry to the point where it's difficult to read, it's always More Fun Comics. It's only More Fun Comics. I don't understand why it's only More Fun Comics. It's not even Adventure Comics, not. Anyways, moving on, we have Movie Comics number 3. Boring. I don't know what else to say. This one's it's just boring. It's fine. It's like, okay, I guess. There's not much happening. And obviously, it's just movies. It's just movie plots, from what I can tell. I don't know, I haven't watched any of these movies, or even heard of most of them, but it seems like it's just movies, but in a comic format. Mutt Jeff number 1 is literally just straight up impossible to find. I could not find it anywhere. I checked everywhere. I'm not kidding you. I checked everywhere. I could not find it. It doesn't matter because it's just newspaper reprints anyway, according to the wiki. Now, we move on to a pretty big moment in comic book history, in DC history specifically. This is the first time for DC a character has gotten a title all to themselves, with Superman number 1, which is pretty cool, if you ask me. Now, in this comic, there's a couple things that happen. It's mostly just reprints of his first 4 Action Comic stories, I think. But there are some interesting things. There's all like a 4 to 5 page extended version of his origin. So we get the first mention of Krypton by name, we get the first mention of the Kents by name, and we see them finally adopting him and raising him. It's just a general retelling of Clark's origins, and we also see him join the Daily Planet and become Superman. We see the events leading up to his first appearance in Action Comics, where so there's a mob about to lynch a prisoner, and Superman stops them. It turns out the prisoner was actually falsely accused for murder, and then there's this other woman, Evelyn Curry, who is also falsely accused for murder. So Superman finds the real killer, captures her, gets her to sign a confession, drops her off, and then that's where the reprints start, and it picks up with the story of Action Comics number 1. So yeah, not much to talk about other than the added stuff at the beginning, because the rest is just reprints. But it's fun. It's good to read. Obviously, I didn't reread the stories. I will reread them eventually because they're fun. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. It's cool to see. I think this one was not monthly. This one's not monthly, so we're not going to be seeing this. Like, I know the Superman title is monthly currently, along with the Action Comics title, but back when it started, I believe it was every 3 months. So this was, I want to say, July of 39? July of 39, which would mean June, July, August, September, October. So the next issue of Superman will be in October, I think. I'm not sure on that. Maybe September. I don't know. I'm not sure. Anyway, that's all I have to say about Superman, pretty much. Then we move on to Action Comics number 14. It starts with, so there's a guy. Okay, so there's a newspaper story about a train tunnel that collapsed. Part of it collapsed. So Superman's going down there to inspect the train tunnel. And he sees this guy who's also inspecting the train tunnel, and he also sees thugs just attack the guy and knock him on the train track and then run away. Superman grabs the guy as the train is coming in, runs away from the train and saves him. Turns out the man is a city inspector who is inspecting the materials the train tunnel was made of. And, you know, he was attacked and left on the tracks. So Superman tracks down the attackers. He follows them. Oh, yeah, the inspector, since he got away, he files a complaint. The inspector's name is Hughes, and he files away a complaint against the company that built the train tunnel, which happens to be who the two attackers worked for. It turns out the attackers were paid by the CEO to kill Hughes so that the CEO would not get exposed. Superman farms for a bit, right? The guy goes to punch him and Superman just blocks him with like a simple hand. He just raises his hand. It's like, so Superman holds the CEO out of a window to force him to confess. The CEO confesses, but the henchmen push Superman and the CEO out the window. And obviously Superman is fine because he's Superman. And he's holding the CEO, and they're both fine. They both survive. So Superman gets the CEO to write a written confession, and then he tracks down to the goons and follows them, but they press a button, and the car goes invisible? And Superman's like, okay, they're not working alone, because that doesn't make any sense. No, two thugs couldn't figure out how to make a car go invisible. They're working for someone. Guess what? He's right. He follows the tire tracks to a shed in the middle of nowhere. He falls into a trap, landing in a tank that seals itself off and activates. Who do you think captured him? Now, last issue of Action Comics, we got introduced to Superman's first ever villain, the Ultra Human Knight. Now, obviously I did a little bit about, you know, teasing it to be Lex Luthor, but obviously it wasn't. This issue, though, right, the villain here, Superman's second ever supervillain, bald. Okay. Evil. Hates Superman, would do anything to destroy him. Traps him, right, to kill him. Wants to kill him. All his schemes are built up to destroy Superman. And he's bald and he's evil. Now, Ultra Human Knight was in the last issue, right? But what if I were to tell you, this character is very similar to the Ultra Human Knight, but a little different. Ultra Human Knight died in the last issue, so it can't be him, can it? So who is it? Of course, this is the second appearance of Ultra Human Knight, because he actually survived the plane crash by escaping in a parachute. So the Ultra Human Knight has once again trapped him. Ultra Human Knight, already explained that. So the machine traps Superman in a block of crystal, but Superman wakes up and breaks out of crystal by flexing his muscles, which is pretty impressive if you ask me. Then Ultra Human Knight manages to escape in the invisible car, but Superman does capture the thugs and delivers the confession by the CEO to the health inspector. Now, on to Adventure Comics number 40. Sandman. Now, Sandman was introduced in New York Fair Comics number 1. I don't remember what it's called exactly, but it's something like that. I did read that on the channel. Well, I didn't read it on the channel. I reviewed it on the channel. I didn't say much about it because I figured it was, you know, whatever. Mutt Jeff was in there. But yes, Sandman was in there. Sandman's first comic. I did read it. I just didn't talk about it because I didn't like it that much. I did like this one though. This one was okay. So the tarantula kidnaps a woman with a $500,000 ransom fee. So Wesley Dodd, a rich guy, he's the Sandman. Okay, the Sandman. Who's the Sandman, Rhino-Horn? He's a guy that wears a mask, and he has a gun that shoots chemicals. He has a chemical gun. And he leaves sand at the scene where he is. He's like a vigilante. So he sneaks into the mansion where the lady lived, and where she was kidnapped from. And he sort of sneaks around looking for the tarantula. He eventually finds a secret hallway behind a mirror. He finds a lady named Vivian and some thug, who I assume the tarantula employed to capture her, and uses a gun to release the sleeping glass, knocking them both unconscious. So he goes back out to the mansion, leaving them both there like an idiot. I don't know why he did that, because the tarantula then comes along and sees them unconscious and is like, oh, Sandman's here, I gotta look out for him. So he goes back out to the mansion and starts searching for the tarantula. The tarantula finds the two unconscious people and figures out the Sandman is here. But then, I guess this is Sandman's plan the entire time. He has a pillow. He puts his cape on it and he puts his hat on it. And he's like, and the tarantula comes out and he sees that and he's like, oh, that's the Sandman. I'm gonna shoot him. And then it turns out Sandman was behind him, puts out a sleeping gas gun, and tarantula gets knocked out. Federal men. Steve Carson investigates counterfeit money. I don't have much more to say about that. There's a town that's using counterfeit money, and they solve it. The federal men. All American Comics number 4. So, Whitey is wearing a gown in red, white, and blue. In Adventures into the Unknown. Right. Fuck, I gotta remember this one because I did not write notes about it. Okay. So, they're on Mars, right? It turns out... God, what happened to this issue? Okay. So basically, they're like, we want to escape this place, Professor. Professor's like, no, not yet. I'll learn more about Mars. Turns out the aliens want to take away their brains and turn them into statue things. Turn them into Martians like them. So the two college kids are like, no, and the professor's also like, well, no. So they have a robot that speaks English lead them around the place, and they're like, we got an escape plan now. But then the next morning, it turns out the professor's disappeared. Then they find the professor. He's now been put in a fake body, and he cannot move, but he can still talk. So they talk to him, and he's like, yeah. Earth didn't appreciate me. They thought my theories were dumb and stupid, but these aliens, they like my science, so I'm gonna stay here and you guys can escape. And the boys are like, okay. And they begin their escape plan. Detective Comics 29. In Batman, the first appearance of Batman's first supervillain, I would say, Dr. Death. Some guy who's like pheromones to kill people. I'm not entirely sure. Oh, not pheromones. There's pollen, I think, or something like that. So anyways, Dr. Death sends Batman a letter in the newspaper and tells him to come to like a specific place at a certain time. So this is the first appearance of Batman using gadgets, which are gas pellets in this, and sticky things to climb up a building wall. So turns out the meeting place is a trap, and there are two gunmen hiding to shoot Batman, but of course, being Batman, he beats their fucking asses. So Batman does get shot in the shoulder by a third gunman, but does escape using a gas pellet. Later, Bruce spots the same gunman in daylight, just walking around, and follows him. He ends up following him to Dr. Death's laboratory. He finds Dr. Death, chases him throughout the lab, and a fire starts, and Bruce just kind of watches Dr. Death burn to death. But it's left obscure whether he died or not, which is confusing, because Bruce is right there. Bruce is staring right at him. Bruce would know if he died or not. But at the end of the issue, it says, is this the end of Dr. Death, really, or not? I would assume, since Bruce saw him burn to death. Also, don't know why you're just letting that happen, Bruce. Anyways, in Slam Bradley, Slam punches a guy for stealing his mail. Right, that's how the story starts. Turns out the guy was trying to steal a letter that says, warning, keep out of Hawaii, skull. Don't know why he was trying to steal that. His paper is scarce in the 1939, probably. So, of course, receiving this letter, Sam's like, I want to go to Hawaii now. There's one point where Shorty mentions Superman, which is cool. Just in passing, he just says something about Superman. He's like, oh, do they got the Funnies in that newspaper? Is Superman in there? In Hawaii, they're in Hawaii now. They get another letter from an anonymous person that says them not to go to this specific spot. So they go to this specific spot, and a woman pops out of the bushes and scares Shorty half to death. Turns out her assassin's trying to kill this woman. Her uncle is missing, and she wrote the letters to get Slam's help. The uncle is Charles. His name is Charles. So Uncle Charles' friend, Hiroto, also received a letter, apparently. And then as he leaves, after telling them this, Hiroto is attacked by some thugs. And Slam and Shorty try to follow them, but then they can't anymore because there's a fork in the road. So they go back to the spot, and it turns out there's a letter there now no, someone calls them, and Betty, Hiroto, and Charles have all been captured by someone who calls Slam and warns him to leave the island or else. So, according to Hiroto mentioned this earlier, some guy named Chang had been following him. So, I don't like that. Okay, hi, I'm back. Sorry about that. I had a really weird feeling in my chest. Thought I was having a heart attack. Anyways, where were we? Right. Betty, Hiroto, and Charles are all captured by someone who calls Slam and Shorty and warns them to leave the island or else. That's right, Chang. So Slam saves this Chang guy from drowning. He has Shorty swim out, puncture his lifeboat that he's using, and then Slam swims out and saves him and pretends to, save him. Then Slam has Shorty, when that doesn't work to get closer to Chang, Slam has Shorty purposefully trip the guy to make him angry. So then Chang has them murdered, and Slam and Bradley let that happen. They let themselves get taken. It turns out, they get taken. It's really racist. They get taken to this other island where there's this Hawaiian guy, and he's gonna human sacrifice them. There's a native Hawaiian tribe, and they're gonna sacrifice Slam. But he knows ventriloquism is really racist, and Slam isn't racist. He just knows ventriloquism and pretends to be a god, and they believe him because, of course, they do. It turns out Hiroto is actually the leader of the bad guys trying to capture the Betty and them, because he works for a government that wants to help Hawaii separate from the U.S. so that they can then take over Hawaii. Slam and the gang escape, and Hiroto and his crew die because a volcano goes off. Sorry if my last half of that wasn't great. I am feeling a little bit weird. I hope I'm not having a heart attack. I don't know, like, the symptoms of a heart attack. I don't think I'm having a heart attack. I think I just got a little scared by that weird feeling in my chest. I am probably fine. Probably just like gas or something. I don't know. Like I needed to burp. Anyways, then I read Feature Funnies 22 and More Fun Comics 45. Okay. That's everything for today. We read some Superman, some Slam Bradley, some Batman. We got the first ever Superman comic, which is pretty good. The stuff added was pretty good. The stories in it were good, but I've already read them, obviously. So it wasn't like anything, super awesome, but it was the first DC comic to focus on one character and one character only, which is cool. But that's it for today. I must say, thank you all for watching. I'm Rhino Horn 7. I'm on a journey to read every DC comic ever released. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.